Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Mark Janish. This is the From the Bench podcast for December the 14th, 2017. I'm Mark Janish, your host. This evening, I'm going to give you a little bit of an update regarding Access Media Global. But first of all, we need to give proper references and proper information regarding the Thomas Fire that has affected Santa Barbara County. And Ventura County on this at this particular point in time. 242,000 acres has been burned, 242,500 to be exact. The fire is 30% contained, and the people of that are on this fire, which is upwards of 8,000 from across the country, are currently trying to get containment lines around this fire up above the hills of the Montecito Village. Many of you will know that as one of the most expensive zip codes in the United States. And they are doing a good job. The weather has been favorable, but I need to also say here in the Carpinteria Valley, in Carpinteria, California, where this podcast is being recorded and produced, it's very, very difficult with unhealthful air. Due to the ash and the smoke that is currently and continuing to affect the air quality of the Carpinteria Valley. If you are wearing a N95, N as in Nancy, number 95 mask, it is very, very, very important that you have those available. I did speak to the Carpinteria Valley emergency response team members who were distributing masks in the community today. Those masks are to be worn approximately 4 days, and then you will need to get a new one, change them out, of course. This means you would have to go ahead and have masks available for every 4 days. So let's say, for example, 7 masks to be available for a 28-day period. That's roughly a calendar month, obviously, in round number terms. At this particular point, I want to take some time to have a moment of silent prayer for 32-year-old Corey Feldman, CAL FIRE San Diego. He is the second fatality, first firefighter fatality to be killed due to the Thomas Fire. He leaves behind a wife and a sister and a child, but also his wife is also pregnant with a second child. So Corey Feldman, 32-year-old specialist for CAL FIRE San Diego, helping on this monstrous fire burning throughout 2 counties now, has died. And his body is being transported as I speak and as I record this to the Ventura County Medical Examiner's Office. And so there is a pall over the news conferences and public presentations and media presentations on this fire. There was a public meeting regarding this at San Marcos High School of Santa Barbara. I actually attended one a couple of days ago. For myself, I am back at home after a 3-day absence and was evacuated for my own peace of mind and a degree of safety to another locality. And I'm happy to be back home and happy to be behind the microphone for Access Media Global.com and the From the Bench Sports Podcast. We're going to get back into some sports, but I did want to give you some positives today in the midst of the horrific, fire information and ongoing situation with that. I did meet with Gold Social Media, Gabe Pereira, and I had about an hour and a half discussion regarding what we're going to do with the current website. We are almost finished with some upgrades. We are going to open up some pages We'll be opening up the NHL page very, very soon. We will be opening up also the soccer page. In light of the fact that the World Cup will be coming this summer, we decided to go ahead and open up an RSS feed and do some things on a level of international soccer. You're going to have similar to what you have on various pages. You're going to have my favorite sites. We're also going to be implementing social media for 4 English Premier League teams: Manchester City, Manchester United, Arsenal, and Chelsea. Arsenal was the addition to that. I've got some feedback that people wanted to hear about Arsenal. So for all you soccer fans, we're finally beginning to see that page come to fruition. For the NHL fans, we're going to be covering the Las Vegas Knights, the Sharks of San Jose, the Los Angeles Kings, and, of course, the Anaheim Ducks. So we will be doing that. We are going to get back to some normalcy of programming here in the next podcast, but I wanted to go ahead and assure you where we are, that in the midst of tragedy and life-altering situation for those in Ventura County and across Santa Barbara County now, as this fire continues to rage, the sports world did not stop just because of circumstances here on the west coast of the United States, or indeed in Santa Barbara County in Ventura County. Want to assure all my friends and family that may be listening to this that I am safe. Power has not been compromised. The evacuation orders have been lifted for certain sectors of the city of Carpinteria. We are still waiting on the Office of Emergency Management to further lift those orders as the fire continues to progress, albeit at a more slower pace, across the hills of Montecito and I believe San Ysidro Creek area, just above the village of Montecito, California, were threatened and continue to be threatened tonight. But fortunately, the winds are favorable. We're hoping that continues throughout the weekend. However, those on the eastern side of this fire, Carpinteria, Santa Barbara, Summerland, areas of California, if you know U.S. Highway 101, we are on the western flank of this fire. And unfortunately, some of the backcountry in Carpinteria has been burned, but for the most part, Carpinteria is experiencing poor air quality. Many businesses are closed during this Christmas season. And as I said earlier, Corey Iverson, 32-year-old firefighter from CAL FIRE San Diego, has perished today. And that is not so good news on the Thomas Fire front. I will be looking tonight at the Lakers in Cleveland. I will be continuing to endeavor as the website gets handled with all the page additions that I'd like to add. Then we can go ahead and start writing some more content material. Once again, this actual site was founded as a one-page Google blog on December 20th of 2010. 7 years later, we have our own podcast. I want to let you know regarding the podcast, we actually did find and look for a fix regarding the RSS feed. Now, what you could do, if you're on the home page, you're going to want to click on menu. Then you can share. You can go to other episodes and so forth, and hopefully the latency on these postings will not continue to occur as they have. That's being fixed and addressed with some coding issues. Once again, as I said, we will be opening up an NHL page, a soccer page, and we're still trying to figure out what we're going to do with the NFL page. We will not have at this time an Olympic feed, even though the Olympics will be taking place in Pyeongchang, South Korea, between February 9 and 25th, 2017. We are going to continue to look as we come to the NFL season, the quarter of the season left. We're definitely looking at that. Tonight's game, Indianapolis and the Broncos, 5:25 was the start time, or is the start time in this case, about 48 minutes away from that period of time as this is being recorded. So just wanted to give you an update. I'm going to not talk, going to try to preserve my voice, but I'll be back soon with a more normal From the Bench podcast. I just want to give you a quick update on my personal status, Thomas Fire status, and also what's coming on the website. I also wanted to let you guys know that we are tracking through analytics where people are going to be checking in from across the nation and around the world. We don't have quite the data that we'd like to have, but we will in the next month or so. The next 2 weeks to a month, we'll be analyzing those stats, getting the word out regarding AccessMediaGlobal.com. I'm Mark Janisch. I founded the website and founded AccessMediaGlobal.com. This is a registered website. It is registered and it is available on the web, all these pages and all this stuff. We are definitely here for you to provide you an alternative regarding sports takes and sports news and all these things. But once again, I'm only one person. If I had a staff of 15 or 20, would definitely be doing a more comprehensive job, which I hope to do. I hope to be doing less work, hopefully, by the end of 2018. But wanted to go ahead and let you know that everything is fine. Now, to get me on social media, you want to go to Mark Janisch, Janisch, at Mark at Access Media. That's my Twitter feed. The other thing, I want to let you know that these podcasts and all other episodes of these podcasts are also posted on Stitcher Radio. Stitcher Radio, I want you to rate the podcast so we know you're listening. Once again, the analytics are going to be taken care of. So I've given you as much of an update as I can for December 14th, 2017. I'm Mark Janisch for AccessMediaGlobal.com and the From the Bench Sports Podcast. We'll be back a little bit later this week, hopefully with a more standardized version of the From the Bench Podcast. We'll be talking some sports, trying to encourage you and move you, even though things have not necessarily gone well in my community and in my world over the last 10 days or so. We just want to continue to be a light in the sports community, and hopefully someone finds benefit to these broadcasts because of the time, the effort, and the money that's been poured forth here with AccessMediaGlobal.com. I'm Mark Janisch for now, December 14th, 2017. Have a very good evening and happy sporting evening to you, wherever you may be around the world and listening on the web at AccessMediaGlobal.com. Good night, everyone.